I'm Evelyn, 88 years old, and my first victory of the day happens before the clock strikes 8. Every single morning, regardless of the weather, I step across my threshold and into the open air. This isn't about hitting a step count or power walking. It's about grounding. By feeling the pavement beneath my shoes and the morning breeze on my face, I confirm my place in the living world. I often think of my old friend Constance. It started with just a week of staying inside to rest a sore knee. That week bled into a month, then a season, until the very act of leaving the house felt like climbing a mountain. I realized then that when your world shrinks, you shrink with it. Staying inside is how people begin to fade away. By choosing to step out, I'm not just getting fresh air. I'm claiming my space and declaring to the universe, I am still here and I am not done yet. Once I'm back inside, my next mission is to break the silence. By noon, I ensure I have engaged in at least one real, voice-to-voice conversation. In a world increasingly dominated by cold text messages and fleeting social media likes, I know that the human voice carries a frequency that heals the soul. Whether it's a scheduled call with my daughter, a chat with the postman, or a brief exchange with the woman at the bakery who always asks about my garden, these interactions are my lifeline. I learned this lesson the hard way after my husband passed. I discovered that silence, when chosen, can be a sanctuary. But silence, when it is all that remains, becomes a cage. It whispers to you that you no longer matter, that the world has moved on and forgotten you are still in it. This second kind of silence is what weakens the spirit and accelerates aging faster than any physical ailment. Loneliness doesn't just break your heart, it slows your mind and stiffens your resolve. I've seen people end up in assisted living not because their bodies failed, but because there was no one left who knew the sound of their voice. By making that one call or visiting that one neighbor, I keep my presence felt and my mind sharp. I'm not just talking. I am anchoring myself to the community, ensuring that as long as I have something to say, I have a reason to stay. I keep my voice heard, one conversation at a time. At 88, my most fiercely guarded treasure isn't a family heirloom. It's my right to choose. From the specific blend of tea I brew to the exact moment I open my curtains, every tiny decision is a victory for my independence. I watched the alternative unfold with my older brother, Edward. It began with the best intentions. His children, out of love, started helping. They chose his meals, arranged his appointments, and eventually organized his entire week. Bit by bit, Edward stopped deciding. He became a passenger in a life he used to drive, and as I observed, passengers eventually go wherever they are taken. Edward didn't fight the move to a nursing home because by then he had forgotten how to fight for himself. Call to action. Do not wait for the world to start making your choices for you. It starts with the small stuff that people underestimate. I am calling on you today to audit your own life. Are you letting others decide your schedule out of convenience? Are you letting easy dictate your days? Stop. Reclaim the chair. Choose your own clothes, plan your own walk, and say no to the help that makes you weaker. Decision-making is a muscle. If you don't flex it every single morning, it will atrophy. Stand up right now and make one deliberate choice that is yours and yours alone. Own your day, or the day will surely own you. I don't own a gym membership, and you won't find me lifting heavy weights, but I move with a precision that would envy someone half my age. For 10 minutes every morning, I engage in what I call deliberate movement. This isn't a workout, it's a maintenance check for my vessel. I stand on one foot while the kettle whistles to sharpen my balance. I reach my arms toward the ceiling, reminding my spine that it still has work to do. I learned the necessity of this at 68, when a patch of black ice nearly claimed my mobility. I didn't fall, but the sheer terror of my body almost failing was enough. I realized then that physical decline isn't always an inevitable slope. Often it's the result of unpracticed skills. Balance is a skill. The ability to carry a bag of groceries or rise from a low chair is a skill. These abilities disappear, not because we get old, but because we stop demanding them from ourselves. I walk to the end of my street and back, not for the cardio, but to tell my joints they are still needed. Falls lead to broken hips, and broken hips are the gateway to institutional living. By practicing not falling every single day, I ensure that my body remains a reliable home for my spirit. It is a 10-minute investment that pays dividends in freedom. The most dangerous thing an 88-year-old can have is a calendar with nothing on it. My fifth habit is protecting my reason. Right now, it's the rose bushes in my garden and the memoir I am writing. Slowly, perhaps even badly, but I am writing. I remember my neighbor Frank, who aged a decade in just 6 months after losing his wife. It wasn't just grief that withered him, it was purposelessness. He woke up to a world that didn't seem to need him. I stepped in, hiring him to help move heavy pots in my garden. It was a white lie, but it gave Frank a reason to put on his shoes. By the third season of arguing over where to plant the tomatoes, Frank looked like himself again. The people who decline the fastest are rarely those with the worst health. They are the ones who ran out of reasons. They eat because the clock says so and sleep because the sun went down, existing without actually living. Your purpose doesn't have to be a grand, world-changing mission. It can be a Tuesday morning phone call with a grandchild or a commitment to finish a crossword puzzle. It just has to be real, it has to be yours, and it has to be waiting for you when you open your eyes tomorrow. Without a why, the how of living becomes too heavy to carry. I am under no illusion that my life is a product of luck. I am quick to tell anyone who listens that independence isn't a gift. It's a hard-won territory that must be defended every single day. These 5 habits don't cost a dime. They require no special equipment, and they don't demand a perfect body. What they do require is a relentless, warrior-like discipline. I compare my warm, lived-in kitchen to the sterile, white-walled rooms of a care facility. The difference isn't found in a doctor's prescription or a good gene lottery. The difference is 20 years of refusing to take the easy way out. I face age 88 with the mindset of someone guarding the last frontier, myself. Most people don't end up in assisted living because their hearts stop beating. They end up there because they stop fighting for the small territories of their daily lives. They skipped one morning walk, then 2, then a month. I know that easy is the Trojan horse of aging. By choosing the slight inconvenience of doing things myself, I buy myself another year of freedom. My independence is a result of thousands of small yeses to life and nos to surrender. I am not just surviving, I am thriving in a space I earned through 20 years of unwavering consistency. Looking in the mirror, I don't see a tragedy. I see a map of a life well lived. I have reached a stage of graceful defiance where I accept the limitations of my 88-year-old body without letting them define my soul. My hands may tremble slightly when I pour my tea, and my memory might occasionally slip like an old gear, but I treat these changes with the kindness one shows an old friend. I have stopped trying to chase the ghost of my youth and have instead embraced the radiant, quiet power of my old age. There is a profound depth in knowing that my time is finite. This awareness doesn't make me sad. It makes every sunset more vivid and every conversation more precious. I have learned the art of letting go, of old grudges, of vanity, and of the fear of what comes next. By being at peace with the passage of time, I remain unshakable. My beauty no longer resides in the smoothness of my skin, but in the clarity of my eyes and the stillness of my spirit. I treat myself with a gentle patience, understanding that while my pace has slowed, my destination is more meaningful than ever. I understand that the way I live is the final and most important lesson I will ever teach. I want my grandchildren to look at me and see that aging isn't a looming shadow, but a chapter that can be written with dignity and joy. My presence in the neighborhood is a beacon, a signal that life doesn't have to end at retirement. When my doctor asked what I was doing, I told him my story so that others might find their own way out of the shadows. My legacy isn't my bank account. It is the proof that a human being can remain the author of their own story until the very last page. I finish my tea, smile at the morning sky, and prepare for tomorrow. I'll see you out there, I say, where the world is waiting.